reading all your posts about the Nile, Howard. What was your involvement with it?
Oh, I've been going back and forth for 20 years. When I was an archaeologist, I think Paul's. Have you still got one or two of my old books, Paul, from the ones that came out in 2000, 2001? Giza Genesis. Didn't you get one of those?
Oh, you talking about me, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I had one of your books, but that was all to do with spacecraft and God knows what. And
well, that was the old,
carrying
old
thingamajiggies.
it was, well, yeah, it's partly to do with that. Yeah, no, I did a lot of work over there, and
which I actually paid for, by the way.
well, like, of course, long, many years of work in that. No, it's 20 years of photographs of the Nile, people working and living on the Nile.
Right.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize. I didn't know what you did.
How you going, Dave?
Hello, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hi, Dave. You all right?
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Ah.
What's going on? Quick.
Going down the Nile at the moment.
We were talking about the Nile.
Are we going up the Nile or down the Nile?
We can do both. It's unusual because when you go up the Nile, you're going the opposite direction. You're going south. Yeah, when you go down. Yeah.
Because the first sort of taster of Egypt that we got, we went over to Cyprus. The first time we ever went to Cyprus, and we did the cruise from Cyprus to was it Portside, and then you had the coach then from there to Cairo.
Yeah.
And it was about 3 weeks. I can't remember what year it was, but we went to Cairo Museum, and then you go to the pyramids and the Sphinx.
Yeah, standard.
And I think it was something like 3 weeks after we were in Cairo Museum, they attacked the German bus.
Yeah,
they shot a load of people on the bus.
I was there.
Yeah. Well, what year was that?
That was a long time ago, and I was also just narrowly missed the one in Luxor as well. That was in the late 90s, I think, wasn't it?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know.
I square every year. See, I square every year. So that I think that was about 97, something like that. I think.
Maybe I wouldn't have a clue.
Well, I went down to
we were pretty close to it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, when you think you were somewhere that the 3 weeks after we were actually there was when they attacked the bus. And
that's right. Yeah.
But they knew something was coming, because I always remember because that's right, when we were coming into Cairo, the bus driver bumped into the bus in front of him, and he got out of the coach because we were stuck in traffic. He got out of the coach and he came back in with this bloody thing like this. I thought, Jesus, he got a bloody rifle. But it was the flipping windscreen wiper blade. And we were sat in the seat behind him, and they'd sort of asked us to keep our same seats all the time. And so we were in the 2 seats behind the driver, and there was a panic when we got to Portside because they didn't have a guide for us.
Right.
Because we needed one more bus. It wasn't very well organized. So we ended up with this guy. He was absolutely brilliant, but he was like banned. His name was Farouk. That's how he introduced himself to us. And we went into Cairo, had this bump, which was like a bit of a shock. And when you see, which no doubt you see people, they just live on the side of the road.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And that's where they live. And and we went into the museum, and he was allowed to come into the museum, but when you went upstairs and you went into the room where Tutankhamun was.
Mhm.
He said, I'm not allowed to come in there.
Our locals aren't, no.
And which we couldn't really understand. So he said, but if you've got any questions, come out and I'll answer you any questions you've got. Well,
Yeah.
a couple of people went out to ask him about something. I remember somebody said something about the size of the hands because they were tiny. And he got fed up with being asked the questions.
How you doing, boys?
Okay.
Right,
Right.
Rob? He
Okay.
got fed up with being asked the questions, and in the end, he came in, and he like took over the place because the knowledge he had was fantastic. But then when the security people realised he was in there, they came and dragged him out because he wasn't supposed to be in there.
Tell me, why aren't locals allowed in there?
It's always been the same. I think it's changed. The new museum now on the Giza Plateau has changed. The guides can go in, but in the past, it's just one of those local Egyptian things. They never like the residents or locals to go into certain rooms, especially if it's the mummy room. It's partly a religious thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that. But talking about that, in '99, when I think the Luxor shooting, I was supposed to be meeting someone at 2 o'clock outside the temple there, and my plane was delayed from Cairo by an hour. And if that hadn't happened, I would have been one of the 50 odd that had been flattened. They're so bizarre, so bizarre. I haven't been since I was going once or twice every year until a week before the revolution. I gave a talk in Cairo. And I left, and week later, it all shit let loose. You know?
Yeah. Well, I remember because when we done everything we were going to do, and there was something like 6 or 7 coaches, and in between each coach, there was a Toyota truck.
Yeah.
With security guards in the back of them with guns and what have you. And we'd gone a few miles out to Cairo now. We sort of out in the desert type of thing. And all the coaches stopped and we didn't know what was going on. And there was a big flap. These security people were coming on the coach. And what had happened was one of the coaches had a flat tire, right? So they were all panicking like hell. It turned out the guy that was driving our coach was like the boss of the company, and they sort of got the coach that had the flat tire on the side of the road, and we parked one coach across the front of it and one across the back of it, and he told all the other coaches to go back, and so we 3 coaches had to stay there. And they jacked this coach up with everybody on board, changed the wheel on it, and and then because it took them, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour, something like that, to change the wheel. So we were that much later then, and they were going like hell then through the desert to get back to Port Said. And we went through one border control with all the speed bumps that you have prior to the barrier, and he was out in front. He told the security guard to get out the way because they weren't going fast enough, and we were sitting right behind the driver, and he went over these speed bumps like as if they weren't there. He went straight through the barrier, smashed the barrier off, and I thought, shit, there's a hell of a flipping. What's all this panic for, like? And Farouk, who was still on the coach, was telling people, please, sorry about this, but please, nothing to worry about, nothing to worry about. And we thought, well, this isn't flipping normal. But then, as I say, 3 weeks later, they attacked the museum.
Yeah.
So they knew something was coming.
I've written a book on that museum as well, because the new one's open now on the Giza Plateau.
All right.
They talk of them knocking the old one down, but I think they've saved it now.
Well, it is fantastic.
I was there. a year I think it was a year before, or maybe 2 years before, the Queen hot chicken soup, as I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
There was a massacre there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And you know, outside there is, you know, it's just a wide open space, so you don't stand a chance there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was.
So I can remember going down to Abersymbol, and we had to be taken down there by the army, you know, through the desert and everything for security reasons.
It was Hatshepsut I was supposed to meet when that happened. But if you go down to where you went on the desert, did you see all those thousands of tanks being stuck in the desert?
No, I didn't see those. No.
Yeah, I stopped there. A friend of mine showed me.
It was still dark actually.
Our
guy wanted to get down there quickly because it was the day of his anniversary or birthday or whatever. You know, when the sun lines up with the coming through the temple to the end where you've got the
that's right, the sun,
gods, whatever, and then somebody came in and we were all by the side, you know, looking down, waiting for the sun to come up, and all these bloody Americans came in, swamped the place, and absolutely ruined it. You know, never mind. One of those things.
On the way down there, there's thousands of tanks under camouflage. You can see some from Google Maps, Google Earth. They've been there for donkey's years.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're waiting for. Scrap. You do a Swansea scrap merchant field day.
When we went a few years later, we went to Queen Chicken Soup's temple, and
that's absurd.
She they said that when because the people, if you haven't seen it, it's hard to explain, but everybody was in. It's a very, very wide open temple, and there's like a big ramp in the middle of it going up to the temple. And the people that attacked came in the way everybody came into it, and so everybody, once they heard gunshots, everybody was hiding behind walls and whatever. And then when they said that when the shooting stopped, they thought, oh, they got them now, like. But what they reckoned, I don't know, this is what we were told, was that they'd run out of bullets, and they were just going around and knifing everybody, whoever they could find. They just wanted to kill as many people as they could to get as much publicity as they could. But there was nowhere to run. Once you're at the back of that temple, there's nowhere to go, was
no,
it?
It's the dead ends, all open all around.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike.
Hello, sorry.
Say hello. A nice pair of braces you got.
I didn't have. Yeah, I'm still in dress.
Oh yeah.
I'm just back from being a ghoul.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was gooling.
I thought it was your LGBT.
Before we go any further, Biscuit, what do you mean when you say that?
Oh, here we go.
I just want to have any issues with it, that's all.
LGBT, let's get bloody tanked.
Yeah.
No, I'm fairly open with my sexuality.
That's fair enough.
Oh. And so I support all humane and mankind.
You're not advertising.
Mankind or womankind or person kind or three kind or four kind.
Yeah, all of them, Con. Yeah.
You're not averse to any sexuality then?
Not at all. I could be a chair, a wardrobe, or a biscuit.
There we are.
But you haven't come out of the closet yet.
Not yet, no.
You're out now, mate.
It makes a difference to me, Carl.
I think you're brave.
Go up the castle, anyway.
I've been accused of a lot of things in my life.
Most of them true.
We've had a great time up in the castle there. Everybody was dressed. We were all different things. So we had to sell out. So it's all been good.
Yeah.
A bit windy today, but never mind.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went down to Bracelet. Well, we went down to go down the pier, but it was heaving in there. So we went up, and we were going to go to Forts, but we ended up in Castlemare. Flipping heck, it wasn't half flipping coming in because the tide was in when we were there. And then when you read that thing then about those people that went down the river down in Haverfordwest yesterday, it sounds like I said it sounds like Robert Shaw. You wouldn't have known about it, Con. I think it was 9 people went on paddle boards down the river in Haverfordwest. 3 of them drowned and 1 of them's injured.
Oh yeah, in Haverfordwest.
Oh,
Yeah.
how was that?
It was an organised trip, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm not sure if it was
Did you see
organised.
the
Yeah, it was.
speed
It
of
was
the
an
river?
organised trip, they reckon. And
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
the river was coming down like a. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. You're really stupid to go in it.
yeah,
It must have been.
There's a yellow warning out as well.
yeah, it was. No, it was an organised trip thing from I think from Newport, weren't they? Some of the people.
Well, they said they were from
Well, I
South
wanted-
Wales, but
Yeah.
Somebody was from Port Talbot, this one instead.
Yeah,
Went from Port Talbot.
all right.
must have been mad.
My
Well,
battery's
whoever organised that trip are in serious trouble.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter's a qualified paddleboarder, and she just wouldn't entertain going in there.
No.
No.
Mental.
I would have thought any outdoor water sports today or this weekend would have been out of the question.
It's like
Yeah,
taking somebody to learn to surf down Langland today.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't do it, would you? You just wouldn't.
No.
No.
You would if you didn't like them.
Yeah.
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 Bad luck, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is they're putting other people's lives at risk, though, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody actually went in, didn't they?
Yeah,
they
that's
said
it,
that,
that's it,
yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. Fortunately, he was able to get back out again, wasn't he?
Oh, right, okay.
Going back on Brian Con, I just heard from a friend of mine. He said there was nothing on Brian Breeze's wife's Facebook site.
Okay, oh, it must be another Brian then, all right.
Somebody drowned in Langland, didn't they, a couple of days ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
was that? What was
woman,
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
a woman. Yeah.
What, is it suicide? Was it? Or
We don't
We
know.
don't know.
Oh.
You don't
I haven't
know.
said much information on that.
Yeah.
But someone said, a girl said she was with Barry Cartwright and
Yeah.
saw this girl or this woman go in for the rocks 2 hours before that. So I really, it's a bit of a mystery, really.
Mm.
right.
Did she fall or did she jump?
Yeah,
No, I think it was somebody who wasn't well.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Bit
Yeah.
sad.
possibly.
Very
Yeah.
sad thing.
It wasn't like a swimmer or a surfer or something.
No,
Somebody.
no, it sounded like that, Mike. Yeah.
It's all sad. I mean, as you say though, it's amazing the risk they put other people under, don't they? When somebody does that,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's quite a selfish act, to be honest. And,
Oh, we know that, don't we, Paul? Oh, God.
Yeah, dead right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
No.
you obviously you're not thinking in your best ways though when you get to the state of doing that, do you?
That's polite.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think what you're doing is the right thing. You don't realize the implications of how
No.
it's going to affect him.
No,
You
exactly.
really do think, oh, this is definitely the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But remember, there could be people that jumped in, tried to save her, even though she'd been.
I know.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. You know, it's all.
Mm.
Yeah, people
sort of
people
things.
who try it, if they seriously want to do it, they'll do it. If they don't seriously
Yeah.
want to do it, they really won't do it. And if they die, it's an accident.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I had a guy when I was in Crantock Garden who was going out in the river on a lilo. So he decided that he would pull the plugs out. And he got quite a way out and he couldn't swim.
Oh, fucking good.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was a good one. Yeah.
That was tidy,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
So,
it was one of the guys in Rossilli. He decided to commit suicide and he just jumped off the cliff there. could put a lot of people in danger. Then trying to find him and everything else. And he left a note, said sorry about the inconvenience, and free bar to King's Head. Well, nobody was really interested in going for a free bar to King's Head after what they had to go through. Find him and drag him up, and but people, as we said, people don't think straight when they're doing it.
No, of course they don't.
In a different frame of mind.
Did you see the picture? Wayne Charles, who went to Bristol, the surf ride a couple of days ago. He fell off, hit his head, 12 stitches or 12 metal things in his head, and there were bandages all around him and a broken rib. So he's off sick for about 2 weeks.
You went where?
Wayne, Wayne Charles, Wayne. He's a bit of a surfer. He's a bit younger than us, but I know his wife got one in college, Colleen. He went to the surf ride in Bristol,
the Wave Garden.
Wave Garden, yeah. And he had a bad ride. He was thrown off and hit his head on the shallow concrete bottom. Oh. And he had 12 staples in his head. He's got a picture of him on Facebook.
Oh.
Nightmare.
I was thinking of going there. I don't think I'll bother now.
Yeah, there's a good
have a look at his pictures through the state.
You wear a crash helmet.
Yeah,
I don't even know if they still do it. Do they still do that thing down the leisure centre now?
Oh, I don't know. Wave machine.
You could ride a wave.
Oh.
I was always amazed that was allowed, because I've seen video footage of it, and where you get into the water, it's probably, I don't know, was it 8 foot wide, something like that?
It's not very wide, Biscuit, and it's sharp. It's like a pool head.
I mean, you fall, you right or you left, and you're going to bang your head on the edge of the of the wall, like.
I think the wave was shaped so that when it came into shallow water, it would just die out straight away for some reason.
Oh,
it wasn't crashing on shore and knocking people over and things like that.
But in the surf wave, it up on a different level. It was just a small little mini pool, isn't it? Where they just
that's the one I mean now, not the main big pool.
Yeah, not the main one. Yeah, look, really
that surfer, that girl, she did herself a real mischief, didn't she? Hit her head on the side, and they closed it down for a long time.
Yeah,
She's badly injured.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they're not surfing on sand, are they? Surfing on concrete.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hitting the sand's bad enough, isn't it?
Sand's bad.
You were saying you flipping it sand. Sand is hard enough if you went into the speed.
You crick your neck.
Knock your tooth out, knock your shit.
I had a couple of weeks in Morriston, didn't I? Jumped off my board, feet first, and landed on a rock that was just under the surface.
Oh. Yeah. Well, there's that guy, was it about 3 months ago in Langland, wasn't it? Rotherslade.
Oh, yeah.
Jumping idiot. But he jumped in a pool from a height and there's no bloody water in it.
No water in it, no.
Yeah. Broken legs and ankles.
Yeah.
Life-changing injuries, apparently.
Yeah.
Desperate.
Long before we had the leashes, I caught a wave and came off a cropper by the sand reef there. And the board span, they spit out and span down, came back, and the skeg hit me right in the back. I had a scar there for about 2 weeks. It's the imprint of the skeg, really nightmare that was.
Yeah.
Painful.
I still got one in my back.
You don't look old enough to be remember before leashes.
Of course I am. I'm older than the rest. A lot of you.
I remember going over the falls. I had that blue Tom. Do you remember that one, Dave? The Tom Hoy? Is it?
Oh yeah.
The blue one, like dark blue deck, dark blue bottom, light blue deck, with a plywood fin. And I remember going over the falls with that. I think it was in Royal Estate or something. And as I was going over, I was stuck on the lip, and the board was going down, and the board just nosedived into the sand. And I just went straight down on my back onto the tip of the tail. Fuck, it was straight, two wets. It's when we used to have pods and body glove things, you know. So there's 2 layers of wetsuit. Went straight through that into the back. I still got the scar. I remember it. I think, oh shit, this is gonna hurt. Oh shit. And you get impaled by the board, and then you get the wave comes down on top of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's funny enough, you were saying about, you know, in concrete and in sand. I can remember coming down, you know, I kind of some water park somewhere. I could have been in Mallorca or somewhere, like somewhere abroad. And you know, you got these big slides, and you get on it's like a tray that you kneel on it, and you go down this slide.
Oh yeah.
You hit the water, and you're supposed to sort of aquaplane across the water. And it was me and my boy. Now I can't remember what age he was. And the thing was to race to see who could get the furthest, right? And I don't know, probably a bit too keen or something to try and beat him, because it was getting to that stage where, like when he was young, you had to sort of slow up to let them, you know, like win. But I never used to let him win. I'd always want to win.
You're a real bastard.
And it got to that stage where I had to try damned hard to beat him. And I was thinking, now, right, I'm going to go for this now. And I was leaning forward. I came off the end of the slide, hit the water, and I was front heavy. And as I hit the water, I just went straight in, face smacked into the water. Right? So, I mean, you hit water at speed, it's flipping hard.
Yeah.
And, but of course, my eyes were wide open. My flipping eyes were stinging. Right? I couldn't see for like flipping 10 minutes. And he was like, you know, I beat you. I'm like, yes, I can't see.
I've never done anything like that. I've got no scars apart from mental scars. But we went to Barcelona once. I think it was in May, and in this hotel they had an infinity pool. And so we went up there, and there was probably about a dozen people sitting around the pool, taking in the sun. It was very sunny, and I thought, well, I'll go in here. And as I walked to the edge of the pool, everybody's head sort of just looked up like that. I could see them all watching me. And I thought, well, that's it. So I dived in, and it was absolutely freezing. Straight away, the head went, you know, the ice cream headache. And so I swam over to the other side, looked out over Barcelona for about 10 seconds, then swam back to the other side. It was only about 10 yards. And tried to get out without looking a complete dickhead. I got one foot up and the other foot wouldn't move. It was just absolutely frozen. So I walked across like a bit of a zombie to my towel, put the towel around me and stood there shivering.
Everyone had a smile on their face.
It's even worse when you stone cold sober.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I did wonder why nobody had gone in.
Why was it so cold then?
Because it was like winter just finished, basically. It was up the
the water stays cold, didn't it?
Absolutely freezing cold. It was warm, like colder than Langland in the winter. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
It's like in Portugal. You go down to the beach in Portugal, sunny hot day, and you think, oh, there's not many people in the water.
Yeah.
Now you start to walk in, you go, freezing cold.
Yeah.
No wonder nobody's in the water.
Yeah. Well, you think Langland's cold, don't you? You go to other places.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really funny when you're coming up from Morocco and you stop off in Portugal for a month or two. You know, we stayed in Ericeira. And water in Morocco is cold as well, you know. Then you go to Portugal, you think it's going to get a bit warmer, and no, it's colder.
Yeah.
And then you come up towards to the north coast to catch a boat home to Santander. You go surfing on the north coast, and you're in the Bay of Biscay, and the water temperature is it seems like it's about 20 degrees more, you know.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I would have thought the warm water would have been warm in Morocco as opposed to Portugal.
No,
Comes up from the
Gulf Stream.
deep in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Comes up to the
Oh.
surface, so it's really cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wetsuits. Even in summertime, it's wetsuits.
Yeah. Nazari, is it?
Nazaré.
Nazare? Well,
Nazare.
that must be cold there then.
I
That's Portugal, isn't it?
don't know. Yeah, because it's not quite in the Gulf Stream, is it?
No, it must be 'cause it's, I don't know.
It is cold.
But even the Gulf Stream and the Mediterranean is cold in the winter, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah. Oh, Cape Town's the same. You got one side.
Oh, it's cold there, yeah.
One side is colder than here,
Mm.
and the other side is like a bath.
Good God.
And there's only 4 or 5 miles apart
Mm.
distance, because the currents come up from the south on one side, and they're coming down from the north on the other side
Yeah.
of Cape Town.
Good God.
Alright.
Really weird.
I'm showing my ignorance. Where is that, Dave?
Cape Town.
South
South
Africa.
Africa.
Oh, Cape Town. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear you properly. I thought you said Cape
Yeah.
Cama. What was that?
Yeah, so you get the cold currents coming up from the South Pole, straight up one side. The other side is the Indian Ocean coming down
Mm.
from up north. The
Yeah.
difference is amazing. Yeah.
Is that where they meet then, or is it Cape
Yeah.
Horn or where they
Yeah,
meet?
we're just
They meet?
it's just the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Is
the
it- is it
Atlantic
really-
one side.
A lot of
Yeah.
rough
There's a
water there.
really bad bit of sea there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
It's
around the
quite
Cape,
moderate.
yeah.
really rough water.
Mm.
Where-
I surfed a 28,000-ton ship around there.
Oh, yeah, great, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was going down. It was going up a wave and chugging up a wave, and then it'd go over the top, and the props would come out of the water, and the whole thing would shake, and then it whizzed down the other side, and then all of a sudden it hit the wave, the next wave,
Mm.
and it would stop, and then you'd feel it come up, the bows would come up, and then it'd start chugging up that one.
What was that?
They were
They-
pretty big waves then.
Yeah, it was the day that they were blockading Beira for Rhodesia, and a tanker broke its back because they wouldn't let it into dock, and it broke its back. The waves were so big,
What was that?
tanker just split in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't hear of many boat accidents these days, do you? Like they used to be, or ships.
No, they put stabilizer on them and things like that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
the times now of the old steam bucket, chugging along through 80 years of life. I think it's just about 50
Yeah.
now, isn't it?
Mm.
All
Yeah,
of the modern tankers have got double hulls, but they still fuck up,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you see these cruise ships, how tall they are.
It's one they don't
compared
tip over, isn't it?
to most of them.
Yeah.
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 You know, like
They're
some
not
of them
very
were-
stable, very unstable.
Is it 22 floors or something, the biggest one? I
Yeah,
think.
at least.
Yeah. It's a long way up. And they've only got about 4 below, haven't they?
Because there's something, like there's many programs on about the Bermuda Triangle, but there's some massive ship. I can't remember. It's all like derricks all along the deck of this ship. I can't remember the name of it, but that's what they reckon happened to that. That disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, but they reckon it was because you get freak waves, and they reckon that ship sort of bridged across 2 big waves,
Yeah.
and the back of the boat broke and just went straight down.
Yeah.
It's a bonus point to the first person who can sing Bermuda Triangle.
What?
It was a television program, wasn't it? Bermuda
Come on.
Triangle.
God.
Anybody?
No.
No.
That was
Oh.
Come on in, mate.
Bermuda Triangle.
Angle.
Oh, yeah.
You watch too much television.
Dun,
Michael.
dun, 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 dun,
I
dun,
don't
dun.
know what show it was from. I know it was a record though.
I was
Yeah,
like,
it was what's we call it? What it did Mandy? What's his name?
Yeah.
everybody coming
Yeah.
back, are they?
No, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I got
No, I gotta go.
son here tonight. So
Catch you next week.
No, I'll see you next week, guys.
All
How's your
right.
treatment
Okay.
going, Dave? Dave,
Barry,
how's your
everybody.
treatment going? All right.
Yeah,
Barry
okay,
Manilow.
okay.
Have a good week.
Third
Have a good week.
question,
guys.
who's
Okay.
Mandy?
Great.
Barry Manilow.
Barry
Yeah.
Manilow, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's
No.
next,
You
everybody.
all have to look at
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle tonight.
I'm going to look at that on YouTube now. It's going to be on my brain for the next week.
Yeah, it's one of those classic songs, Con.
You have to have it as a
Yeah.
backdrop, Con.
Yeah.
You will.